Today's lesson is Charlie Puth, from YouTube star to superstar. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And my name is Helen.
And today we're going to be talking about a pop singer by the name of Charlie Puth. He got his start by putting songs on YouTube as opposed to giving concerts in local venues, which is how most people become famous. But nowadays, I guess you have this opportunity. You can put photos of yourself or videos of yourself performing songs, and hopefully you'll be discovered that way.
Yes, and that's how Charlie Puth was discovered. He put videos of himself singing and performing on YouTube, and supposedly somebody discovered him that way, and that's how he became famous.
Okay, that brings us to the end of our introduction for today, so let's dive right into our lesson by listening to the first part, and we'll be right back to discuss it.
Charlie Puth, from YouTube star to superstar. Not so long ago, if you wanted to become a musician and didn't have any famous family, you'd have to start very small. Your first performance venues would probably be dark clubs with just a few people in the audience, one of whom would hopefully recognize your talent and offer you a record deal. Charlie Puth came up in a new world. His venue of choice, while just as hard to start out with, was YouTube.
大家好，我们来看第一部分中的单字 venue。它是名词，意思是事件、活动等的发生场所或是举办地点。例如 Because the concert tickets sold out too quickly, the venue had to be changed to a larger place. 由于这场演唱会的票太快完售，场地不得不换到更大的地方。又或者说 This is one of the best venues in Chicago to see live music. 这是芝加哥最棒的现场音乐表演地点之一。
So the title of today's lesson is Charlie Puth, from YouTube star to superstar. Now, we're going to compare Charlie Puth and how he became famous to how people became famous not so long ago. Well, not so long ago, if you wanted to become a musician and didn't have any famous family, you'd have to start very small. So this sentence is making the assumption that it's easier for people who have family members in the industry, in the business that you want to get into, to become successful in that industry. And we know that with the way that the world works, that is true. If you have connections in a particular industry, then it'll just be easier for you to be successful there.
Right, and of course, if you did want to become famous and you didn't come from a famous family, you'd have to start at the beginning. You'd have to start very small. Your first performance venues would probably be dark clubs with just a few people in the audience, one of whom would hopefully recognize your talent and offer you a record deal. So indeed, if you wanted to become a musician, you would have to start at the beginning. Your first performance venues would probably be small places like dark clubs, and only a few people would be in the audience. So a venue, of course, is where something takes place. For example, the venue for tonight's baseball game is at the baseball stadium in Tianmu.
Yes, or I could say that banquet halls are popular venues for wedding receptions. And here the word record deal, or I should say the phrase record deal, refers to the situation where a musician gets a connection with a record company and the record company agrees to pay the musician to make a record and the company would then try to sell it. So that's a record deal. In summary, before YouTube, musicians got discovered in local venues because record producers would go there to try to discover new and rising talent that they could sign and offer a record deal to. But that world no longer exists, really. Charlie Puth came up in a new world. To come up means to rise in status, to become famous, or to develop as an artist, a person. So you could also say that a person came up from the lower ranks of a company. Maybe they just started out as a lowly clerk to become the company's CEO. So Charlie Puth came up in this new world. What is this new world? It's the world of YouTube.
Right, so he grew up in this new world and he's becoming famous because of the rules that the new world makes us obey in terms of wanting to become famous. I suppose you could still give concerts at various venues and hope that somebody will discover you, but I think most people are relying on social media like a YouTube, and his venue of choice, well, just as hard to start out with, was YouTube. So something of choice is what you pick. My restaurant of choice is Lao Guo Niu Rou Mian. That's a great place to have beef noodles. That's my restaurant of choice. It's the one I prefer to go to most often. So his venue of choice, the place he decided to perform and be discovered, was YouTube, and it was just as hard to start out with. So yes, indeed, of course, YouTube is quite popular and everybody knows it's there. And if you want to become a musician, well, you're joining thousands, if not millions of other people who are posting videos of themselves performing with a guitar or in front of a small group of people.
Right. So even though it's easy to get on YouTube because anybody can upload a video of themselves performing, it's not so easy to get the attention of record producers and people who can change your lives.
Indeed. So that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. It's time to move on now to the second part. Let's listen.
YouTube was the perfect place for Puth to begin his career because it meant he didn't have to face his audience directly, which was important for him because of his history of being bullied in school. Puth's earnest personality combined with his enthusiastic love of music made him an easy target. Fortunately, YouTube allowed him to focus on putting his heart and natural talent, including perfect pitch, into his music without worrying about what other people thought.
第二部分我们看到形容词 earnest， 它的意思是认真的、诚挚的。例如 Ben is an earnest student who takes his studies seriously. Ben 是个认真的学生，很重视他的学业。又或者说 The earnest young woman works hard to become a doctor. 那位认真的女人很努力要成为一名医生。接下来我们看到形容词 enthusiastic， 它的意思是热情的、热衷的或是非常感兴趣的。例如The enthusiastic crowd cheered on the home team. 热情的群众为主场队欢呼。又或者说 Thousands of enthusiastic fans crowded into the stadium to hear the concert. 成千上万的热情歌迷涌入体育场听演唱会。另外补充这个字的相关名词 enthusiasm, E-N-T-H-U-S-I-A-S-M, enthusiasm, 意思是热忱或是热情。例如Hannah has had an enthusiasm for science since she was just a little child. Hannah 从小就对科学怀抱热忱。再举一个例子 Rebecca has a lot of enthusiasm for the work that she does. Rebecca 对她所从事的工作充满热忱。
Now, YouTube was the perfect place for Puth to begin his career because it meant he didn't have to face his audience directly, which was important for him because of his history of being bullied in school. So here we find out something about Puth's past. While he was in school, he was being bullied by other students. There was a whole history of this, so it wasn't just one time, two times. Maybe he spent a lot of time being bullied. Now, when someone bullies you, they treat you in a very bad way. They frighten you or they hurt you. They might even physically hurt you. So that's what happens when someone bullies you. When a person does this to you, when they hurt you or they make fun of you, they embarrass you, that person can be called a bully. And everybody who's gone to high school, junior high, will remember the class bully or somebody who was always bullying other people.
Yeah, I was kind of quiet in high school and elementary school myself, but fortunately, I wasn't bullied that much. I could have been an easy target. But here, Charlie Puth was an easy target for bullying, and this has caused him to feel uncomfortable in performing in front of a live audience. We often describe someone as being afraid to perform in front of a live audience as having stage fright. So maybe he had stage fright because of his past, and therefore YouTube was the perfect venue for him. It was his venue of choice. And it was the perfect place for him to begin his career because he didn't have to face his audience directly. And again, that was because he was bullied in school. Puth's earnest personality combined with his enthusiastic love of music made him an easy target. Okay, I just mentioned that term, an easy target. That just means you can be easily attacked by someone. And of course, in school, we've got lots of people who have issues with feeling inferior or something like that. So oftentimes they take it out on other people, and they do this to people who are weak and defenseless. They are easy targets.
Yes, and Puth was an easy target because he, first of all, had an earnest personality. So somebody who is earnest is very serious. They tend not to joke around much, and they tend to mean what they say. So they're very careful with their words. They're very introspective, which means that they think a lot, and they care a lot about what they say to people and how people react. These are the signs of someone who has an earnest personality. So this type of personality combined with this enthusiastic love of music made him an easy target of bullying. Enthusiastic here means very interested or very excited by something. I could also say that I'm very enthusiastic about seeing the new movie John Wick 4 with Keanu Reeves and Donnie Yen. So that is to be enthusiastic about something. So in a few words, Puth's earnest personality combined with or mixed with his enthusiastic love of music made him an easy target of bullying.
Right, so these things worked together to make him an easy target for bullies. They thought, hey, let's go pick on him because he's got that earnest personality and because he likes music. Okay, he likes singing. He likes to play the guitar. So before class, let's pick on him. Fortunately, YouTube allowed him to focus on putting his heart and natural talent, including perfect pitch, into his music without worrying about what other people thought. So it's a good thing nowadays we have YouTube. If you are shy, if you have stage fright, or if you're bullied, you could still try to put stuff on YouTube because it's open to anyone, and he could put his heart and his natural talent into his music. Okay, so if you really like your songs, if you really have an emotional passion about your songs, you can do that on YouTube. Maybe you'll get some comments from trolls or something like that, but for the most part, it should be a positive experience. It also says he has perfect pitch. What exactly is that?
When you have perfect pitch, you're able to recognize or sing a musical note at the correct pitch. So, for instance, in terms of musical notes, we have 7, right? 7 major notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So if somebody plays a note on a piano, a person with perfect pitch will be able to identify that note and say, oh, that's a G, or that's a G minor, or that is a D major, or something like that.
Yeah, I think I can recognize C and A, but little else. So I do not have perfect pitch, but I guess here Charlie Puth does have perfect pitch, and that helped him with his musical career. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the third and final part.
It turned out that what other people thought would make him the next breakthrough YouTube star, as he earned 10,000 subscribers by his third week on the platform. And soon after that, he started taking his music into the offline world.
第三部分介绍名词 breakthrough， 这个字的意思是突破或是重大进展。例如 The scientists think this new medicine will be a breakthrough for treating the disease. 科学家认为这款新药将会成为治疗这种疾病的重大突破。最后我们看到名词 subscriber， 它的意思是订阅者。例如 Subscribers to the website received a weekly newsletter. 该网站的订阅者会收到每周时事通讯。又或者说 Lots of YouTubers update their social media every day to interact with subscribers. 许多 YouTube 创作者会每天更新他们的社群媒体，好跟订阅者互动。
So before we mentioned that YouTube was a very good channel for Charlie Puth to express himself musically because he didn't have to deal directly with what people thought about him, his personality, and his music. However, it turned out that what other people thought, quote unquote, would make him the next breakthrough YouTube star as he earned 10,000 subscribers by his third week on the platform. So here the phrase it turned out that means it happened that, and you use it to describe how something developed or ended. You could say, for instance, I didn't want to go to the party, but it turned out that I had a really good time because all of my best friends were there. So it turned out, it happened that I had a really good time. In the case of Charlie Puth, it turned out, it happened, that what other people thought about him actually worked to his benefit, because when he went on YouTube and started performing on this platform, people immediately recognized his talent and he gained subscribers and became famous.
Right, so to turn out means it's the result of something that you probably did not expect. For example, I did some research into my family history, and it turns out I have some ancestry from Afghanistan. Of course, I'm using that as an example. I don't really have ancestors from Afghanistan, but in any case, we're talking about what other people thought. And sometimes, of course, we do worry about what other people think, and then our parents say, oh, don't worry about what other people think. Just do what you want to do. And yes, indeed, that very concept would make him the next breakthrough YouTube star. So if it's a breakthrough thing, that means it's a big change from the past, usually for the better. The medical company has come out with a new breakthrough in cancer treatment. Hopefully they can solve that problem. And he has earned 10,000 subscribers, or at least he did, by his third week on the platform. That's pretty fast. That's a pretty fast rise, right?
That's true. It's a very fast rise. And the word subscriber here is being used in a new way because traditionally a subscriber is somebody who subscribes to a newspaper or a magazine, which is when you pay a newspaper or a magazine company to have the newspaper or magazine delivered to you every day or every week or once a month. And you would pay monthly or annually. But here, when you subscribe to a YouTube channel, it just means that you click that little button. So whenever the person who owns that YouTube channel uploads a new video, you will get a notice saying a new video has been uploaded by this channel. So that's when you subscribe to the channel. If you're a subscriber to the channel, it means you have subscribed to the channel.
Right. So whenever you watch YouTube videos, of course, the people in the videos will ask you to subscribe to their channel so that they can be more recognized and I guess make money. I guess it has something to do with making money and being sponsored and things like that. And yes, he had earned 10,000 subscribers by his third week on the platform, which of course is referring to YouTube. And soon after that, he started taking his music into the offline world. So YouTube, of course, is an example of the online world on the internet. But if you're doing it offline, that means you're live and appearing in venues where you can give concerts, or you're appearing on talk shows, being interviewed, or you're giving performances on those shows. So yes, indeed, he took his music into the offline world, which we'll continue talking about in our next program. Right now, let's listen to Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分的最后一句有提到 Charlie Puth 的绝对音感 Perfect pitch。 好，那么 pitch 在这边当名词，它表示音高，我们就可以用 perfect pitch 或者是 absolute pitch 来表达绝对音感，也就是说在没有基准音调的情况下，能够正确的区分音高，并且再次重现听到的声音。好，那这边也顺便补充两个跟 pitch 有关的用语。第一个是 fever pitch， 它是表达极度兴奋、激动或是狂热的状态。那么 pitch 在这边可以把它想成是某个感觉或情况的程度、强度。那我们就可以用 be at fever pitch 或者是 reach fever pitch 来表达说兴奋激动的情绪达到了巅峰。好，第二个补充的是 sales pitch， 它是指商品宣传用语、推销话术或者是推销言辞。好，那么 pitch 当动词呢，还可以表达推销啊、强力劝说、竭力游说的意思，我们就常常用 pitch something to somebody 来表达。例如 He successfully pitched his idea to his boss， 他成功地游说他的老板接受他的点子。好，那么课文第三部分有提到说 Charlie Puth 在 YouTube 平台上第3周就获得了1万名订阅者。那文中是用名词 subscriber 来指订阅者， 它的动词是 subscribe。那我们来学它的字首字根。好，当我们看到 scribe 或者是 scribe 或者是 script 这一类的字根表示 write 书写。那么在 subscribe 这个字当中，它的字首 sub sub 表示下方， scribe 表示写。那同学们可以试着联想说，在文件的下方签名写上自己的名字，表示有同意啊、订购等等的行为，所以 subscribe 就有订阅、订购的意思咯。好，那我们也补充几个有相同字根的单字。第一个是 describe， 它的字首 de 表示 down 下，那么字根 scribe 表示 write 书写，所以从字首字根来看，它就有 write down 的意思。那么 describe 就是表达描述啊、描写，是个动词。好，再来第二个补充的是 prescribe， 它的字首 pre 表示在点点点之前， scribe 表示写。那么医生开处方签就是事先写下指示，让你之后可以去药局领药嘛。那我们用这样的方式应该可以联想到 prescribe， 它就是开处方、开药那个开的动作咯。好，在第三个补充的是 transcript，它的字首 trans 是指贯穿横越，那么字根 script 表示写。当我们把这个声音啊或文字转换成另外一种形式或媒介，把它保留或是记载下来，用这样的方式也许可以联想到 transcript， 它有手抄本、文字记录的意思，像是录音内容的文字记录就可以用 transcript 来表达咯。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Venue. The wedding venue was decorated with flowers and lights. Bully. Jared bullied his classmates in school, but now he regrets it and wants to apologize. Earnest. During the debate, Nancy made an earnest and powerful argument for her position. Enthusiastic. My little brother is really enthusiastic about our visit to the zoo this weekend. Breakthrough. After years of effort, the inventor made a breakthrough that enabled him to perfect the machine's design.
Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoy reading along with us. I am Helen.
I am Roger.
See you next time.